Hey there, YouTube. This is CFL Fanatic, giving you my picks for Week 12 in the 2010 CFL season. So last week, 4 games and 4 complete ass kickings. I have to say, I hope that doesn't happen again, because some of those games were kind of boring to watch. Particularly the Hamilton game. I mean, I knew Hamilton wasn't as good as they were appearing to be, but I honestly didn't think they'd do quite that bad against the Alouettes without Calvillo. Anyways, last week I was 3-1. Chris Schultz was 2-2. I made up my game on him. What did I tell him? Why did he pick Toronto? I don't know why. That takes me to 25-15, and Chris Schultz to 21-19. So I once again reclaim my 4-win hold over him. All right, the Edmonton Eskimos needed a new general manager, and who did they go to other than Eric Tillman? Now, obviously, if you're like me, you're wondering, wait a minute, isn't he the guy who, was convicted for sexually assaulting his 16-year-old babysitter? Yes, that would be him. Now, obviously, generally when people commit a crime such as sexual assault and plead guilty, they go to a place known as prison or a detention center, or other legal actions are taking place. But nothing happened to Tillman because, listen to this. This is from Dave Campbell of CFL.ca. Quote, "In January of this year, Tillman was granted an absolute discharge after the judge reviewed the circumstances of the case and determined Tillman was remorseful and the incident was isolated and out of his character." Well, isn't that special? I don't care if the incident is out of your character or whether you don't usually do it. I'm not saying Tillman's a monster. Now, was it a mistake? I'm sure it was. Is he remorseful? I'll bet he is. But if you commit a crime, you pay the consequences. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then you get off scot-free. No, you pay the price. All right, on to the Argos. Oh, they needed this badly. Justin Medlock last year, he was pretty much tied with Duval for top of the league in kicking percentage. Duval was like 0.3% higher, but I'll take off 20% because I hate him. Anyways, they got Medlock back. Grant Shaw, he started off the season strong, but the past 3 or 4 weeks he has not been able to hit anything. He's been missing 30-yarders constantly. So time to bring Medlock in and show him how it's done. Grant Shaw will still take a backseat role. He'll still be involved with the team, which I like. Get Medlock in there to get things started. And then when Medlock goes, you have Grant Shaw, who will have a bit more experience. Okay, the Calgary Stampeders are expressing an interest in Jesse Lumsden. I'm not quite sure why. They already have Joffrey Reynolds and John Cornish, 2 great running backs, and they can alter the duties there. I'm not sure why they need a third one. Plus, I'm not sure how helpful Lumsden is going to be. He has a bad history with injuries. Obviously, an injury to the shoulder ended his career in Edmonton last year. Okay, back to the Argos. In the BC game, Toronto's offense hasn't been doing good. The one positive for this beaten-up offense is Corey Boyd. And against BC last week, Boyd suffered a concussion. He will not play against Winnipeg, and it is unclear how long he will be out. This poses an interesting challenge for an offense that is already failing to really get anything done. They gave up 6 sacks last week against BC. That is pathetic. This O-line cannot protect Cleo Lemon. I think a lot of people are blaming Cleo Lemon for what's happening, and it's not his fault at all. When your quarterback has 1 second to get rid of the ball before 10 guys are in his face, of course he's not going to be able to do anything. So O-line needs to get better, and they got to hope that whoever they're running for running back can do a good job next week. All right, Week 12, first up, Friday Night Football, Calgary takes on Saskatchewan. this should be an interesting game. Had Saskatchewan not lost 31-2 in the Banjo Bowl last week against Winnipeg. I think they experienced a lot of the same problems that they did on Labor Day, which is, once again, same thing that Toronto's having problems with, which is a failure to protect the quarterback. Their offensive line, it really looks in disarray right now, I have to say. And Calgary, is rolling on. Now, to be fair, their last 5 games, they've played 3 against Edmonton and 2 against BC. So not exactly the most amazing opponents ever. But I think that they're going to come out strong, and I'm going to take Calgary to beat Saskatchewan. All right, on to Saturday, Hamilton and BC. Hamilton looked pretty ugly against Montreal. An offense, I knew their offense wasn't really that good, but 6 points is pretty sad, I have to say. On the flip side, BC looks pretty good. Now, once again, they were playing the Argos, who last week, as far as I'm concerned, just about hit rock bottom. As far down as I hope they can go. And I pray to God that that's rock bottom for them. Anyways, back to BC. They looked relatively solid, I have to say. They put up 37 points against the Argos, and they only allowed the offense to score 16. 2 touchdowns, and both of those were on big plays. They shut down Corey Boyd on 3rd and goal. So you know what? BC playing Hamilton at 10 o'clock in BC, steamrolling along. I have to give the edge to BC. So I think they're going to win that one. Winnipeg and Toronto. Now, I think this is probably just about the most interesting game this week. Because right now Winnipeg is 3-7, but they're a better football team than that. They really are. And Toronto is 5-5, and right now they're playing, terrible. As far as I'm concerned, right now they are the second worst team in the league, obviously in front of Edmonton. But Winnipeg destroyed Saskatchewan last week in the Banjo Bowl. Toronto came off a loss against BC. The offense started out reasonably solid, but after the first quarter, they really did nothing. And you look at Toronto had a chance. You look at some of the passes, or you look at some of the plays, and you have, let's say Corey Boyd, instead of your offensive line actually protects him and he gets into the end zone. Well, there's one touchdown. Let's say Ronald Flemings does not fumble the ball on the 5-yard line when he has a sure touchdown. There's another touchdown. So next thing you know, now the score is 37-30, a lot closer. So, I have to say Toronto is there, and I think last week they hit rock bottom, and I hope to God that this is a wake-up call. Chris Schultz is picking Winnipeg. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm picking Toronto. I think I'm insane. Anyways, Edmonton and Montreal. Somehow I highly doubt this game will be very exciting. It might be exciting for maybe even up until the first half, but after that I, honest to God, believe that Montreal is going to run away with this game. They're excited to have Calvillo back at the helm playing for them. Even if they didn't, even if they had Adrian McPherson, I mean, look at how well he did against Hamilton. I don't think Edmonton's going to put up a better fight than Hamilton. So, I expect Edmonton to play competitively, but unfortunately, I honestly don't see it happening. So, I have to be on the safe side and pick Montreal to win this game. All right, so those are my picks once again in case you missed them. So, hopefully, this week will be a bit more exciting than the last, and I'll see you next week.